Recorded.
Okay.
Maharaj,
So,
Haribol,
yes, sir.
will it be possible for you to talk on the anthropology slides you talked in Spanish? In English?
Yes. Yes. But okay, so we have to plan that. That's the only thing. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Fine.
Use the copy Dwaja priority code, put it in the blog, and we will seize the time. Maybe Saturday morning. Yeah, that sounds good. Next Saturday. Okay. Okay, so right now I want to welcome everybody. Today's class is in Spanish. Clase hoy día, Sangha hoy día es en español. And please, that's not English. Today's class English. Please forgive our delay, but we've tried connecting by two different networks and it wouldn't connect. So if we're not there, just yell at us, like Srinivas did. So welcome, Abhinandan, Carlos Rowe, Christina Zavala, Devaki Nandan Das, Guru Govinda Dasti, Harsh, Jadana Shingadas, Lakshmanagaraja, Ramanreti, Devi Dasi, Lakshmi Radha Devi Dasi, Monkey Heart, Japa Beads, Musical Notes, Broken Heart, Two Hearts, and Folded Hands. Manjwali Didi and Lalita Madhava Chile. Mitravinda Didi, Priyasaki Didi, Srinivas and Sugopi. Subal Sakadas, Krishna Pramodani Didi, Sundaradika Didi, and Swakia Devi Dasi. Okay. And everybody else who maybe hears a recording of this, if anybody requests it. So we started the okay. Who's this? Can anybody see our screen?
Yes, Guru
Yes,
Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Okay. So we started on the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanavedanam verse, which Prabhupada includes with Itipum Sarpita Vishnu, Bhakti's chain Navalakshana, Kriyata Bhagavati Atha, Tanmanye Ditam Uttamam, which is then translated probably using Sridhar Maharaj's commentary. And Prahlad saying that hearing and chanting, the 9 processes of devotional service, and Vandanam is just defined as the 16 types of paraphernalia, that whoever does this, one who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods, should be understood to be the most learned person. So Hiranyakasipu, in like a kind of intoxicated fatherly way, is asking Prahlad, "Oh, what's the best thing you learned in school today?" And he's expecting a sweet answer, but instead Prahlad says, "Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu." Okay. And he said, that was the best thing, which I learned from my spiritual master and what I learned from my secular teachers at Yale University. We're not sure about that. But Sandra and Mark, their school was completely materialistic, completely demoniac. Yeah, they were teaching diplomacy, how to control people. So he thought that was stupid. So Prabhupada then quotes, he says, Bhakti paresh anubhavo viraktir anyetra cha. Bhagavatam 11:242. Maybe we can look that because there's a link here. And Prabhupada said, this is a symptom of pure devotional service. A pure devotee is interested only in devotional service and not in material affairs. To execute devotional service, one should always engage in hearing and chanting about Krishna or Lord Vishnu. The process of temple worship is called archana. However, how to perform archana will be explained herein. Oh, one should have complete faith in the words of Krishna, who says that he is the great well-wishing friend of everyone. Suhridham sarvadehinam Gnatva shanti mrichati. Okay, we become peaceful because who's your friend? Oh, Krishna. Oh, he's just a talkative child. He's not even an adult. He picked up some insignificant pebble called Govardhan, and he killed a little water snake called Kaliya, and everybody thinks he's a big deal. Well, I don't care. He's my friend. He'll protect me. A devotee considers Krishna the only friend. The only friend. Hey, This is called Sakyam. Sakyam. Pung. This is called Sakyam. Pung Sharpita Vishnau. The word Pungsa means by all living entities. There are no distinctions permitting only a man or only a Brahmana to offer devotional service to the Lord. Applying this, I remember I moved into the temple and was thinking of serving Krishna, Prabhupada, everything else. Then at some point, then the temple president, they were changing pretty quickly. First when he kind of introduced this way, he introduced this thing of my way or the highway, that you cannot possibly serve Prabhupada except through the temple president. That's the only way possible. And of course, they seem to be limited in their particular ability to be transparent. So in any case, it says here that that there's no distinction permitting only a man or a Brahmana to offer, or a temple president to offer devotional service to the Lord. But of course, as soon as we offer anything to Prabhupada and Krishna, we begin to appreciate people according to their position. Yes, unless there's some, big deviation, then we should be following the temple president's instructions, institutional instructions. Everyone can do so, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, 9:32. Apiche sudha mamcha apiche sudharacharo. No, where does it go? Mamcha, whatever. Striya vaishya tata shudra tepi yanti param gatim. Okay. Although women, striya vaishya tata shudra versus the striya, then the SVS and ladies first. Striya vaishya tata shudra. Although women, oh my goodness, feminists won't love this. Although women, Vaishyas, oh my goodness, capitalists won't love it. And Shudras, oh my goodness, even the labor unions won't love it, are considered less intelligent. They also can become devotees and return home back to Godhead. Okay, so we're not going to be so concerned about people's intelligence. That's a secondary process. After performing sacrifices, sometimes a person engaged in fruitive activity customarily offers the results to Vishnu. Okay, but here it is said, Bhagavati Ada. One must directly offer everything to Vishnu. Okay, so we're offering the sacrifice to Vishnu, not just the products. This is called sannyasa, not merely nyasa. So we're thinking of nasa as occurring in the vanaprastha stage. You renounce gross gratification with the opposite sex, even under ritualistic circumstances, even under sacrifice. And then sannyasa, you don't even engage in it subtly. Okay. Joking. A tridandi sannyasi carries three dandas, signifying kaya, mano, vak. Okay. That's interesting. Kaya, mano, vak. Body, mind, and words. Seems like the order is a little different here. Vakya. Kayo, man, kayo. Like in a kayak. Kayo. Puts his mind in. Vakya. And he gets in afterwards. Okay. Kaya, mano, vakya. Body, mind, and words. All of these should be offered to Vishnu. And then one can begin devotional service. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So by becoming, Prabhupada says that in the introduction to preface to Nectar of Instruction, by following the instructions in Nectar of Instruction, first we become Goswamis, and then we can become pure devotees. So of course there is no limitation if you are Striya Vaishya, Striya Vaishya, or Shudra, or even less than that, being born on the island of Guam, having come up from the Mindano Trench. Fruity workers first perform some pious activities, and then formally or officially offer the results to Vishnu. The real devotees, however, first offers his surrender to Krishna with body, minds, and words, and uses his body, mind, and words for the service of Krishna as Krishna desires. So then we're engaged in sacrifice, But the sacrifice is as Krishna desires from the very beginning. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following explanation: his tatya. Tatya. So it seems like it's like from here on, everything is simply Prabhupada just giving us the great benediction, paraphrasing Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's tatya. What does tatya mean? Any Sanskrit experts here? Tatya.
Asking Tatya?
Yeah, tatya.
T-A-T-Y-A, Guru Maharaj?
T-A-T-H-Y-A. No reflex.
I don't know, Guru Maharaj. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we can
Maharaj?
remember. Yes, sir.
I think this is related to the tattva word tattva. The tattva means substance. So in my understanding, explanation is tatya. So tatya seems to be substance.
But it looks like the way it's italicized and it's capitalized, it's a specific work, you know. So maybe Bhakti Siddhanta's commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, which we're always hearing, is actually has a certain name, because it's the name of a work. It's capitalized in the T, so I suspect it's a specific work like that. So we have to look for Bhakti Siddhanta, the name of Bhakti Siddhanta's commentary, what he called it. That. The word Shravanam refers to giving oral reception. Okay, it's Bhakti Siddhanta's commentary now. The word Shravanam refers to giving oral reception to the holy name and descriptions of the Lord's form. Okay, his qualities, descriptions of his qualities, entourage, and pastimes. Nama, Rupa, Charit, Sangha, Lila. Okay. What do we have here? We have 40 people. 40 personas. Okay. As explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and similar authorized scriptures. Okay? Similar authorized scriptures. After orally receiving such messages, one should memorize these vibrations and repeat them. Kirtanam. Svarna means trying to understand more and more about the Supreme Lord. This is very, for us, we take this as Smarnam. This means trying to understand. So I think this is where maybe then we then expanded this to mean that logical understanding is the first level of Shmarnam. Maybe someplace else, and we also heard it like that. But here he defines Shmarnam means trying to understand more and more about the Supreme Lord. So very practical. Hearing and then repeating, which means that you've taken it to heart, so you've memorized it. And Shmarnam, he doesn't define it as remembering, but it's trying to understand like that. And Padasevana means engaging oneself in serving the lotus feet of the Lord according to the time and circumstances. Archana means worshiping Lord Vishnu as one does in the temple, and Vandana means offering respectful obeisances. Mamana babamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Vandana means namaskuru, offering obeisances or offering prayers. Manmana bhava, mad bhakto, madhyaji mam namaskuru. Thinking oneself to be the Nitya Krishna Das, everlastingly a servant of Krishna, is called Dasyam. And Sakyam means being a well-wisher of Krishna. Okay. Krishna wants everyone to surrender unto him because everyone is constitutionally his servant. Therefore, as a sincere friend of Krishna, one should preach his philosophy, requesting everyone to surrender unto him. Atmanivedana means offering Krishna everything, including one's body, mind, intelligence, and whatever one may possess. Okay. So these explanations, I think other places are given a little differently. And reading it this time, it seems kind of like it's a perspective for someone who is just beginning to approach these 9 processes like that. Maybe more from the viewpoint of someone just entering into, no, actually before, from a Kanistha Adhikar, before taking initiation. Second initiation, maybe Harinam Diksha. So we'll go for a little bit more here. One is a sincere endeavor to perform these 9 processes of devotional service is technically called Bhakti. So many times, Anyabilasita Shunyam Jnana Karmadinavritam, this verse is given as a definition of Bhakti, and also these 9 processes are given as a definition. We were looking up the Upadeshamrita, because of course this verse is quoted in Upadeshamrita in text number 3. Utsahan Nischayad Daryat Tatat Karma Pravartanat Sangatyaga Sato Vrite Shabir Bhaktir Vinashati Prasidhati. So there Prabhupada says devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation, or imaginative ecstasy, but it is practical activity in the foreground of spiritual life. And then he gives the definition on Yabilasita Shunyam. And after some time, he gives the definition of here these 9 processes. One sincere endeavor to perform these 9 processes of devotional service is technically called Bhakti. The word adha means directly. One should not be like the karmis who perform pious activities and then formally offer the results to Krishna. This is called karma kanda. One should not aspire for the results of his pious activities, but should dedicate oneself fully and then act piously. Just like Arjuna. He was trying to do his pious duty as a Kshatriya, but was dissatisfied because it was materially contaminated. And then he surrendered to Krishna, and Krishna said, yes, do it, but do it for me. Act for me, and what I want you to do is to take up your normal pious activities of acting like a Kshatriya. In other words, one should act for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu and not for the satisfaction of his own senses. That is the meaning of adha, directly. Here Prabhupada gives. Anyabilasita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukuyena krishna nushilanam bhaktirutama. One should render the transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. Prabhupada says here. But other place he says, what's the word, sentimental speculation, which is speculation, ascending process based upon our star, or empirical speculation. Sometimes Prabhupada defines philosophical speculation as the descending process, that we take whatever we find from authoritative sources, scriptural sources, and then we use our intelligence to apply it in specific circumstances. That is called pure devotional service. One should simply satisfy Krishna without being influenced by fruitive knowledge or fruitive activity. In the Gopal Tapani Upanishad says, the word bhakti means engagement in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not of anyone else. This Upanishad describes that bhakti is the offering of devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To perform devotional service, one should be relieved of the bodily conception of life and aspirations to become happy through elevation to higher planetary systems. In other words, work performed simply for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord without any desire for material benefits is called bhakti. Bhakti is also called nishkarma, or freedom from the results of fruitive activities. Bhakti and nishkarma are on the same platform, although devotional service and fruitive activity appear almost the same. The 9 processes enunciated by Prahlad Maharaj, who learned them from Narada Muni, may not all be required for the execution of devotional service. If a devotee performs only one of these 9 without deviation, he can attain the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes it is found that when one performs one of the processes, other processes are mixed with it. That is not improper for a devotee. When a devotee executes any of the 9 processes, Navalakshanam, this is sufficient. The other 9 processes are included. Now let us discuss these processes, 9 processes. Now let us discuss these 9 different processes. So Prabhupada is going to go into a detailed discussion here. And I think this is all from the Tatya again. Maybe again, my suspicion that's part of the name of Bhaktisiddhanta's commentary on the Bhagavatam directly. But, of course, it's a Sanskrit word, has meaning. So any comments or questions at this time by any of our distinguished audience?
Hare Krishna Gurudeva, please accept my humble obeisances, Avarish.
Die. Hare Krishna.
I just searched for that word, Gurudeva. It says that information are with an N, Tatyan, it is become a truth. Something like they gave examples of Sanatana Goswami, Digdarshani, looking more deep into it. Jiva Goswami's Lagutoshani. And like same as you mentioned, Gurudev, I think his work's named as Tatya, but it's basically to give information or truth about it, something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like, what is it? The Nimbarka Swami's commentary on Vedanta Sutra is something paribhasya, something, yeah. And then Ramanuja has Shairakya Bhasya, is his commentary from Shankara. So probably again, Anuvritti, for example, is the commentary on Upadeshamrita. So then Bhaktisiddhanta, because Prabhupada is always quoting, Bhaktisiddhanta comments on these verses of the Bhagavatam, Bhaktivinoda comments on these verses of the Bhaggavatam, Sridhar Swami comments on these verses of the Bhagavatam, Jiva Goswami comments on these verses of the Bhagavatam. Yeah, so that way, it'd be nice if somebody can find out the name of Bhaktisiddhanta's commentary. Prabhupada may mention it sometimes. Wow. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
And I have a comment on this one, especially this verse, Gurudeva. Yesterday I was listening to Chaitanya Charan Prabhu related to Ishopanishad. He made a comment or a comparison. Prahalad Maharaj is the same was what you mentioned now with the Socrates and what is the last person? Francis Bacon. He's saying that Prahalad Maharaj mentioned knowledge is devotion and it has to be used to serve Krishna or to serve the ultimate God. And Socrates says knowledge is virtue, to develop a character, and that is the ultimate thing. And now the days progress more and more. Now Francis Bacon changed the knowledge is power. He is more like a, so he gave a comparison, Bhakti to Satvik, Satvik to Rajasic. So the progression he gave, the knowledge has transferred from Bhakti to, a pure virtue, and then it became a passion. It became like, something power to control. So it became more technology oriented. Now everything is driven technology, and we want results, we want power. So he gave a comparison, the same verse with various ways, Gurudeva. I think it's nice. I don't know. I just want to share.
No, it's very nice. The book, what's the word? Dialectical Spiritualism. From what I understand, that was Prabhupada's plan. That was his desire. They didn't suggest it. He suggested it. And then Shamasundar and Hayagriva got one book in like the history of Western philosophy or something like that. And they would read it. And then when they were traveling different times in Prabhupada, they would present their summaries, their ideas of what different people meant, like Socrates, Francis Bacon. And and then Prabhupada would make his commentary. And his idea was just what we're talking about now, is that making the comparison and contrast. You know? Because sometimes we find things are just the same. You know, we can illuminate each other's traditions. When Prabhupada went to the Franciscan monastery when he was in Australia, Cistercian, and they all appreciated each other right away. The older monks were looking at Prabhupada, and then they kind of smiled, and Prabhupada looked at them and smiled. Okay, we can see that you're a very serious person, honest like that. You like your character comportment. So they sat together in their living room, maybe 3 sofas and 12 chairs. And most of the monks, the younger monks, were crowded in, and Prabhupada was sitting on the sofa, main sofa, between 2 senior monks. And I think Charu was describing that after about 10 minutes, Prabhupada was leaning back with his arms on the sofa, almost like embracing both of them. And they said it was very, very nice, meeting. And Prabhupada turned it into a very friendly meeting. He didn't just have to talk about following 4 principles, because they already were. And I think even vegetarian. So at one point, Prabhupada said, okay, because they were asking about what does his life mean, and about monastery life and these things. And so they got into talking about brahmacharya ashram. And Prabhupada said, in India, of course, it's a very great tradition for a long time like that, a big part of society, even still. And he said, but here in the West, I'm a new man. Prabhupada said, I'm a new man. So you got to tell me give me some hints here, how to set it up in the West and so on. And so that way they were very touching their hearts. They were very, very nice, friendly communication. So this interfaith dialogue is an extremely, useful, important thing. And of course, you've probably seen the 9 processes are related. So if we're talking about interfaith dialogue, that also comes to, discussion of our tradition with science, because science is also a kind of religion. It aims at connecting up with the source of everything and being in harmony with it, or else be conquering it and bringing it in harmony with our desires. So yes, it's very important. Looking at these things and contrasting them. The Socrates. I was reading the Socrates. His idea was that if you actually acquired real knowledge, this is jnana, wisdom, then automatically you would be virtuous. And we say the same thing. Because if you understand that by smoking and drinking, what's going to happen, really understand immediately on a long-term basis, then automatically you'll give it up. But of course, that means the knowledge has to go very, very deep. It has to go through and look at avidya, confusion, even into past lifetimes, which are carrying with us. So it's Prabhupada said Socrates was a good boy, just didn't have a guru. Okay, because by his own endeavor he could come to the level of Brahman and like that in Paramatma. But then beyond that, okay, so who knows where he is now, who he's become now? Maybe one of us is Socrates. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Gurudeva. The last line you put it very nicely, Gurudeva. Go deep into that knowledge. As you mentioned, the example is a wonderful example, Gurudeva. The drinking. Many people know the issue with the drinking, but they consider it, at the most, what it is going to harm me. Maybe it reduce a 1 year of my lifespan or a 2 years of my lifespan, but I can enjoy it as much as before I die, kind of. But if you put it in a perspective more, go deep into it, it is not one lifetime or something, or it affects so many people around you, your family and your children, everything, and eventually it will affect everyone. So go more deep into it, you stop it. But we are not going that deep. We are on the surface only. I know it, it's okay, it's all right, I can drink whatever it is. Very nice, Gurudeva. Thank you very much.
All glory is to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Is it with my humble obeisance? How do you distinguish between knowledge and intelligence? What's the difference?
Oh my goodness. Is there a distinction? Because I would say that See, that's why Indian philosophy, Indian culture, again, is everybody's famous. What is it? Italy's famous for good food. Britain's famous for spies. Germans are famous for machines. But that's the point: is that India is recognized for philosophy, or try to cover it up, religious activity. But once anybody who penetrates a little bit knows. That there's philosophical systems in India, and so many things, actually, music also. But there's what there are dictionaries. There's the Nirukti, the Amara Kosh. What's one more? Prabhupada quotes one more dictionary there. Amara Kosh, Nirukti. Okay. So these are so many cases are definitions of philosophical words where somebody's gone through. Just like in English, the first dictionary was by, I think, Samuel Johnson. And that was his biographer was Boswell. Okay. So he made up a dictionary. There'd never been a dictionary before, and it was kind of bigoted. He defined Irish people. He was defining them and giving definitions to define them as bad people. But it was an attempt like that of giving definitions to words so that people would kind of agree upon them. So when we said something. So in the West, when we talk about knowledge, it's a whole debate and different things like that. And what's the other one? Knowledge and intelligence. Because intelligence can be a processing ability, or else we can say, well, we're getting good intelligence from our spies. So in that sense, I would say that intelligence is information, knowledge. So usually, what I've seen, was it Aldous Huxley and so on, they're defining knowledge as just facts, information, memories, thoughts, whereas intelligence is more the ability to process those things.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Because in the Vedic tradition also there's a saying, Buddhiryasya balam tasya. That person who has buddhi, he has the power. So maybe in the Western world, knowledge is taken as intelligence. When you say knowledge is power, information not necessarily is power, right? It's how to apply that will make it powerful.
Yes, it's kind of like the data and the computer program, because that there's also material and physical intelligence, buddhi, and it's then like acquiring what do they call acquiring algorithms. Yeah, acquiring algorithms. Yeah, so it can be taken that way. Yeah.
And one more idea, Gurudev. I think this is in computer line. I'm talking about it. If you have knowledge, picking up intelligence or picking up from that pool is never a problem. Means if not today, tomorrow you will pick it up. But you have to have that knowledge base information that is gathering. So it's basically when he says especially knowledge is power, that means you have all the things. If not today, tomorrow you get to it. So in that sense, actually, it's not necessarily today only, but in a broader stroke, it's an information and put it that way. And again, in computer terminology analysis, like basically intelligence means you pick from the information from there. So again, it is a little extra, as you mentioned, Gurudeva.
Yeah. Yes, yep. So we're developing our own intelligence, own understanding of these things. And of course, everybody will develop a little different variety from our own experience and ultimately for our different swarups. When the Nectar of Devotion came out, and you can know the Nectar of Devotion, you can memorize the entire thing. Okay. Prabhupada said, now read this book and all of your questions will be answered. He said, not that you read it and say, what is this? What is this? What is this? He said, no, go on reading, 6 times. Okay. And so we see that's what happens. Like you're saying, is when we're reading and stuff, we're attentive, we're conscious. Okay. And then maybe also it's entering into our memory, but it's entering in just as like information, without too much tag in terms of like really, what's the word, links, what do you call it? What do you call it? Flowchart between the different facts. That's one level of connecting them. Okay. And so, but if we go through it the second time, then maybe our flow chart for the entire nectar of devotion. And this devotee, Gopal Hari, my goodness, I wish we could get this and spread it a lot. And maybe I haven't, look at my file there. But he did like a flow chart, for the entire nectar of devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And it's simply with what Rupa Goswami is giving. And Prabhupada, of course, he mentions it verbally in little pieces, but then Dhanadhar Maharaj gives bigger pieces with flow charts. And then he put the whole thing together. And yeah, you can see that. And it's just amazing when you see the entire thing at one time. Oh, that's much smaller than I thought it was. Oh, that's okay. That's the main point. Yeah. So anyway, I hope we can get that chart, and then what do you call it, to spread it. Oh, by the way, we of course yesterday we had our online program in Spanish, and ever since Thursday we've been recording. A very, very nice person here, Paulo, I forgot his name. He's the director of photography, and Raul, of course, is the movie director. But Paulo he's totally expert guy. He was in America for 12 years. He works for a television channel here. They give him assignments. So he has all this wonderful equipment. He's been recording everything. We've been doing it over, change the angle. So it looks like he wanted basically the beginning to get they wanted to get our daily routine and stuff like that. And so we have Mongol Artik, we have the ashram where we're at. And they also went to the Govardhan Puja festival. We went there first by ourselves and recorded, then went again for the festival and asked the devotees to be in ecstasy and stand here. Everybody stand over here now and be in ecstasy. But they're kind of used to it because so many people come to the temple and we're recording because it's a showcase. So very, very nice program here the last few days, and very intense too. After rest, without a doubt. And so this is all. Then will be edited, of course. Then we won't have any. We're having other people visiting on the weekends. Like say Miguel Polo will come, and the whole place you've got the more and more lights put in and everything else. So recording, being set up as a recording studio is getting better and better. So next weekend we'll be with Miguel Polo and have some nice dialogues and discussions. And the whole thing is consolidating. We've known each other for so many years. And well, what's the purpose? Well, to find Sita and benefit her. And of course, the very, very first sentence in Prabhupada's Bhagavatam is we must know the need, we must know the current need of human society. Okay, so that's one way of looking at Sita Devi. We must know the current need of human society. And of course, the word human, many of our friends, the people we associate with, they know that we can discuss, people who have just gone mad with anger and revenge and so many things. Are not actually human beings in this current mode. But maybe the current need of many of the animals two-legged animals is to be elevated to the level of human beings, which is one of Shubra Devi Dasi's main focuses in education. So it's coming together, and of course the calendar is one way to look at it. And these next weekends, maybe we'll have some people coming. So during the week we'll be able to rest a little bit, maybe organize. And then at the end of November, we're supposed to have a symposium with San Marcos University, which of course is very significant because consolidating our work with the universities here will be online. And it's supposed to be in terms of glorifying Prabhupada, illuminating Prabhupada. And I'm trying to help them with getting a good focus and a good title. Of course, our Bhakti Siddhanta and Carl Jung is a very, very nice media for communicating these things and organizing them. And I saw there's a WhatsApp letter from Radhika. I didn't look at it. Maybe he got an answer from Shoner Shamdashini. And we're still reading Carl Jung's lectures he gave in 1935 or 39, like that. And it's very, very interesting. Okay, and then going into November, December, the next big event will be Shubra Devi Dasi and Chaitanya Charitamrita Das. They'll be coming from Texas, like about the 15th or something. And so they'll be here all the way until the 5th. And then Radhika is going to come on the 25th. So that we'll have like a series of, we're planning on, because all these educators are having a very, very nice series of educational programs. They can be in residence, the three of them, maybe somebody else we can accommodate. And we're even going to be accommodating, maybe even renting a house if people want to do it. And someplace we're heading into Vyasa Puja as being an educational thing, offering our obeisances to Vyasa Dev, the entire parampara, and honoring everybody within it, in terms of their position. Okay, this will be organized by Hanumatpresaka Swami. So it's Hanumatpresaka Swami's Vyasa Puja. He's organizing it to worship everybody. Then it's on the 4th, I think, or 5th, and then the 6th, everybody leaving. And then basically at that time, they're going to take charge of the movie. They're going to start editing, So by the time, very nice, by the time we leave, come back to Houston, we'll hopefully have the first chapter of the thing done with this perspective. And then we can build on that very easily then. Okay, this is the one, now we want to go back at it again. But look at it. Stay in Houston from the, I think the 7th to the 17th, which will be Gaur Purnima. And by then, hopefully with the help of Chaitanya Charitamrita and everybody else, everybody will all be ready to be part of a movie. And we can record things very nicely. The primary school, the restaurant, the deity, temple worship, the Bhakti Vriksha programs, and outreach programs. And so hopefully while we're there, farm, Goshala, we can do a very, very good recording and analysis like that. And then, what do you say? Get back up to Nashville by the right after Gaur Purnima. And one brahmachari, he's down in Dallas, his name exactly, but he came and visited us when we were traveling. So maybe he can stay with us, for some of the time. And it looks like because we'll be there a little bit longer, maybe 5 months because of the weather in Spain. So maybe then we'll take Alejiante and have a quick trip to Richmond. Maybe stay in Richmond for some time, maybe a week, I don't know. Maybe go out to Boise maybe for 3 weeks or something. Yeah. Again, and then to Spain in the middle of July, and then on to India like that. So it looks like that's kind of our line. And all the way along, the same things again and again. Interfaith dialogue, science in the Vedas, world classical literature, and the Bhaktivedanta Library, and practical arts. So thank you all for your association. Any final comments from anybody? Okay, let's all chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Sankirtan Yagna ki jai.
Thank you very much.
Yay! Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Muchas gracias. Toda la gloria a Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Muchas gracias, Gurudev. Reverencias.